To prevent him from ever regaining his reign, 50 supposedly placed a hit on him, but Meech is finally coming clean about it. But Meech is also talking about what really happened between him and 50. That is, the money movements, the treachery, and the setup that left him with nothing. At first, 50 and Big Meech appear to be set in stone as two titans of the industry with street reputations and business acumen that made them. Indestructible 50, the rap mogul who eventually became a TV boss, controlled the entire company, while Meech was the infamous Black Mafia family kingpin. The only people who could turn BMF's narrative into a TV sensation were Do 50. And Meech's son Lil Meech was making his Hollywood debut. Let's face it, if there's one person you don't want problems with, it's 50. Everything was going fine until it all went wrong. Thus, the Big Meech Stories TV rights were acquired by 50. It was a show that had the potential to revolutionize the business, not just a modest initiative. Street legend narrative paired with a Hollywood-caliber film, 50 went to great lengths to make sure the BMF brand was strong, even paying for Lil Meech's acting lesson so he could play his father accurately. This ought to have been a done deal, a connection founded on dedication. But you already know that things can become complicated when money is involved. 50 Cent claims that he contributed $5 million to the BMF initiative. It was alleged that the money disappeared without anyone knowing why, and 50 was not going to overlook it. He initially kept quiet and dealt with things in the background. Then Big Meech made a move that it would change their relationship forever, and 50 thought it was the height of betrayal. After being released from prison, Meech could either rebuild with his true supporters or take a chance on a glamorous new deal, and guess what? He made the incorrect decision. Meech had always had a strange connection with Rick Ross. It was no secret that Ross idolized Meech from a distance, and the name Big Meech was the focal point of Ross's entire enterprise. Following Meech's release, Ross clicked with him right away. What had begun as a playful association soon developed into something much more, and soon the two were doing commercial partnership. 50 Cent could have written this off if it had been anyone else. But Ross was more than just a regular competitor. One of the most horrible feuds in hip-hop history, it has included personal insults, diss recordings, litigation, and ongoing humiliation. Ross was even exposed by 50 as a former correctional officer who constantly made fun of him and included his baby mama in the turmoil. Ross handed me $100,000, which was pennies, and it was reportedly like a slap in the face. Given what 50 had already invested in him, this was not merely business, it was inescapable proof of treachery. He instantly unfollowed Lil Meech on social media, ending their friendship. Then, accusing Meech of switching sides for a fast payment, he moved to Instagram to take fire at Meech. He then revealed the most shocking revelation to date, strengthening the suspicion that Big Meech was a snitch. 50 then released another, this time a video that went viral and featured Mech's face and an unidentified man talking about snitching.
Are you happy about getting
How much?
The headline said, he had Tammy Cowan do all his dirty work. Her new tell-all breaks it down. Essentially, 50 keeps the impression that Meech was arranging behind-the-scenes activities to reduce his sentence by guiding her and connecting her with people to have his time reduced. This accusation was more than just idle internet gossip. The receipts from 50 Cent were specifically directed at Tammy, who was suspected of being an FBI informant. Tammy even messaged 50 Cent on my behalf.
Fortunate, right? It really is, but I agree. So, we'll just let it be told when the story gets told.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to stick to the truth and keep it pushing, right?
That's it. That's all good.
That one telegram had all 50 messages to confirm what he already knew. Then 50 claimed to have court records proving Big Meech had even brought in a social media celebrity to help the federal government. 91. Before things started to unfold in real life, this was just a feud on social media. The situation was exacerbated by Jake, who supposedly had records showing Meech had engaged in some third-party collaboration with an informant. Jake leaked a DMS from Lil Meech, claiming that Fry did not, but he gave my dad some bread so he could pay his expenses. Rumor had it that Big Meech was being barred from the music industry by 50 Cent utilizing his influence. Since Meech was struggling financially, the father had anticipated that his son would show up with duffel bags of cash, as he had in the past. However, Lil Meech was broke and sifting through the money that 50 had given him. In fact, no one owed Meech anything, despite the rumor that I was waiting for El Baby to pay him some cash, because he showed up in a Ferrari vehicle and looked to have it. Although it wasn't Lil Baby, Ross, or the business, Ross saw an opportunity. Ross rushed right in, posing as if he was going to save the day, as 50 started to pull away. With the promise of a legendary lineup and Mech's formal return, Ross advertised a fake Big Meech benefit performance. Ross spoke grandly as though he was going to transform Mech's life, and the event was arranged under the sponsorship of AJ Touring and EXO. To make the event look authentic, he used names like Lil Baby, 21 Savage, and even himself. For a while, Meech gave credence to his claims that it was about loyalty, legacy, and restoring Meech's authority. When the moment arrived, it failed more badly than anyone had expected. 50 was determined to prevent Meech from ever making a comeback if he did. Everything was going well, the venue was locked in, and tickets were selling when the concert was abruptly cancelled with the official excuse of unforeseen circumstances. To make matters worse, Rick Ross ignored the cancellation for 5 seconds before turning to promote his car show and other events. Then, as though nothing had happened, the man went on. Ross eventually contributed to Meech's termination from a steady revenue-generating partnership with 50, leaving him stranded as soon as things went wrong. This was inevitable when you think about it, so supporters were picking up the pieces of his damaged reputation and giving him a lot of side-eye. Meech was never given priority by Ross, who focused more on his own business endeavors and promoting his next auto show, leaving Meech behind. Fans started to question Ross's dedication as a result, and things started to go against him. 50 didn't waste any time in making fun of the situation by making a snarky remark upon announcing the cancellation. Once at the pinnacle of hip-hop royalty, Big Meech was abruptly left in a precarious situation without any financial support, a show, or a solid fan base. "I was not involved in anything, so don't contact my phone." He even shared a fake Valentine's Day greeting, attempting to make fun of Meech's financial troubles. Contribute to Big Screech's monthly earned debt of $30,000, which covers one of P's expenses. Meech requested help from GoFundMe to pay for his $50 earned. Meech had the option to contact quality control with any questions. Not only did he make a mistake, but his entire family also suffered. 50 had been providing executive producer credits on the show, paying the whole BMF crew, and ensuring that everyone was fed. Now that the bridge had been destroyed, 50 started to hint that BMF Season 4 might not even occur. Lil Meech's Hollywood aspirations would be crushed, the BMF brand would not gain any more publicity, and Meech would not get any more money if that were the case. Now that Lil Meech is charging $500 for advertising videos, what is she doing?
What up, though? Boss of all bosses. And today I'm coming to tell all my supporters, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, wherever you got, you trying to make it go up.
And 50 loved it. To make fun of Meech conducting marketing, he wrote on Instagram, "Big Screech got Meech doing promos, $500 a pop, get you one." Several stills from his well-known TV program, BMF, were also featured in 50. But this is where it gets shady. Took Lil Meech's face out of the pictures. He didn't simply ignore him. Instead, he did it with a full marker in yearbook style. In the caption, he went all out and took aim at Big Meech. Pay attention to the phrase, big screech. Damn you, you will never remember that you told Tammy Cowens to get your time cut. He has liquor brands to market even while he's beefing, so this newest jab wasn't a coincidence. It came immediately after Lil Meech shared a touching message about his father. By including a photo of Big Meech, the BMF star made it obvious whose team he supports. He wrote, "My prayers were answered. I made sure to beg God to return my father home to my family before I asked for anything else. Dad, I adore you. Death before shame." By bringing up the prospect of producing a high-profile BMF film, Ross tried to divert his attention.
I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small-budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget.
He even mentioned Antonio Fuqua and Quentin Tarantino if he wanted to make an impression.
Director. Shout out to my homie F. Gary Gray, Antoine Fuqua, what's up? Tarantino, it's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big, I can feel it. I'm just talking to a major player such as myself. Listen, when you're talking to a major player such as myself, the moves I make, I most definitely have an agenda. I don't do anything to piss off a little pea.
He couldn't even pull off a concert at this point, so why would anyone believe he could make a hit film? One name kept popping up constantly as the 50 went on. Tammy Cowens threatened Meech once more in one of his most recent blogs, saying that the truth would soon come out. "Tammy, did you do Meech?" 50 asks her bluntly in a screenshot of their alleged text chat, but he didn't stop there. He replied, "I know you were providing information when he was in Jessup Penitentiary," followed by the statement, "This is when the conversation began on how he wished he could tell or give me something to help him get out. But his name couldn't be attached. They would kill him because of who he is. I told Jack Harvey about it for the first time. If Meech reveals the whereabouts of the funds, may they grant him a 15-year time cut? Giving Meech a 50 would be the boss's final resort if labeling him a snitch wasn't enough." Pursued financial supremacy. One of America's most dreaded crime lords, Meech, is legally compelled to live in a halfway home, which he supposedly bought and made sure Meech pays him rent for. Give it some thought. Once the boss of a billion-dollar enterprise, Big Meech now needs to mail checks to 50 Cent to remain afloat. In an interview, 50 reportedly smiled and said, "Business is business." He isn't even subtle about it. Emma placed that ninja on toilet duty, cleaning up criminals all day. The 50s have Big Meech stuck wherever he goes, so even though he was released from federal jail, he isn't really free. Those that don't think this is real are gushing about how amazing 50 is, how he's always been dependable, and how this is the best burn they've ever heard. Interview 1350/1356. It appears that Meech is not even in a halfway house.
Stop the presses. This story right here is complete and utter bullshit.
All of this boils down to one straightforward question. Was loyalty the main factor here, or was money the only one? Was 50 Cent just showing off his power, or did Big Meech truly betray him for a speedy payday? If that's true or not, he wouldn't have been shocked that things had progressed this far. 50 was ahead anyway, and Meech had nowhere else to go. Square one, he is no longer incarcerated, but he is not truly free because he lost his industry ties, bet on Ross, and got nothing in return. From the outside looking in, it's obvious that Mech's downfall was not just bad luck but bad business. And the man who was Big Meech in his songs turned out to be. Ross was a good player, but Meech was now outplayed. Big Meech's future is uncertain because the chances are against him, and 50 Cent has declared that he will not be extending another lifeline. For more industry tea, see our upcoming video if you think this is the end.